In every conversation about BTS, there is one name that almost always comes up without being asked, as if it were an invisible axis that determines the direction of everything. That name is Jungkook. Not because he talks most of the time, not because he is always in front of the camera, but because there is something in him that makes the public, the media, even the global music industry reflexively associate BTS with him. The question arises, why Jungkook? What actually makes this one figure feel so decisive, so that the names BTS and Jungkook seem inseparable in one breath? Jungkook is not just the youngest member of BTS. Since the beginning of his debut, he has carried a burden that has never been spoken directly. At a young age, he stood on the world stage carrying big dreams. Not just his own, but those of the 6 others who walked with him. There are many talented idols out there, but not all of them grew up under the spotlight of expectations as big as Jungkook's. He is called the Golden Magne, a nickname that sounds sweet, but behind it lies a quietly pressing demand. The nickname is not a gift per se, but a recognition as well as a burden. Jungkook must always be able, always ready, always perfect in BTS journey to break through South Korea's borders and conquer the global stage. Jungkook is often the first face to catch the attention of the international public. His stable voice, honest expression, and ability to blend in with a variety of musical genres make him easily recognizable even to those who are not fully familiar with BTS. Foreign media often make it a gateway to understand this group. When BTS's name is mentioned, Jungkook emerges as a representation that is easily translated by the world, a young artist with a talent that feels universal. However, associating BTS with Jungkook is not just a matter of vocal or visual technicalities. There are emotions at work behind it. Jungkook carries an image of honesty that is rare in the construction-heavy entertainment industry. He didn't always speak much, but when he did, his words felt like they were coming from the deepest place. When he smiles, there is a sincere impression that makes people believe. And when he was silent, the public felt like protecting him. It's this collective feeling that slowly shapes the narrative. BTS is a big phenomenon, but Jungkook is the heart that makes the phenomenon feel human. In many of BTS key moments, whether on the international awards stage, stadium-scale concerts, or global interviews, the camera often captures Jungkook in a position that is not always in the middle but always crucial. He sings the climactic part of the song, becomes a binder of harmony, or stands with a gaze that reflects great responsibility. Without realizing it, Jungkook is often the group's emotional counterweight. When the atmosphere is too light, it comes with seriousness. When the pressure was too much, he came with a small, soothing smile. What makes this linkage even stronger is how Jungkook positions himself within BTS. He never tried to steal the spotlight, but the spotlight came into its own. He respects his hyung in a real way, learning from them, listening, and putting himself as part of the team, not the center. Ironically, it was this attitude that actually made the public see him as a central figure. The world sees Jungkook as an ideal example of how great talent can go hand in hand with humility. Behind all of BTS's global achievements, there is a narrative of sacrifice that often finds its face in Jungkook. He grew up in front of the camera. Her small faults are magnified. Her emotional exhaustion is read as drama, and her silence is often overinterpreted. However, Jungkook kept going. It learns, falls, rises, and evolves before millions of eyes. This process makes many people feel growing up with him. When BTS is mentioned, the public's memory of that long journey is often tied to the figure of Jungkook they saw from adolescence to adulthood. It's no exaggeration to say that Jungkook is a mirror of BTS's own journey. From initial uncertainty, relentless hard work, to unimaginable global recognition. He is a symbol of continuity, a reminder that BTS is not an instant success, but the result of years of dedication. The media and the public may often simplify the narrative by attributing BTS to a single name, but behind that simplification, there is an indirect recognition. Jungkook carries an essence that is easily felt by anyone, anywhere. In the end, the reason why the BTS name is always associated with Jungkook is not because he is bigger than the group, but rather because he represents the core of what makes BTS beloved by the world. Sincerity, hard work, vulnerability, and courage to grow. Jungkook is not the arbiter of everything in the sense of power, but in the sense of meaning. He became a bridge between BTS and the world, a figure who made this global phenomenon feel close, real, and human. And maybe that's where the answer is. When the world is looking for a single name to understand BTS, Jungkook is the name that is best able to explain everything without having to say much. And that linkage doesn't stop at just public perception or the media spotlight. Within the dynamics of BTS itself, Jungkook is often a signifier of direction, although he rarely says it explicitly. He is a figure who works in silence, absorbing pressure, then channeling it back into energy on stage. Many do not realize that behind BTS's performance that always looks solid, there is Jungkook who continues to hone himself, as if he feels that the success of the group must always be maintained, even supported, by his personal readiness. On several occasions, BTS members have implied how Jungkook is the harshest person on himself. He not only trains to meet standards but to exceed expectations, not for the sake of praise, but for the sake of a sense of responsibility. This is the side of Jungkook that is rarely talked about, the fear of disappointing. That fear doesn't make him fragile, it makes him consistent. And it is this consistency that makes many people, consciously or unconsciously, see Jungkook as BTS's anchor amid the wave of global popularity. As BTS reached peak after peak, the world saw splendor. But Jungkook felt the weight. He is at the point where every step of BTS feels like it resonates directly with his name. Small mistakes can be big news. A moment's silence can trigger long speculations. However, instead of retreating, Jungkook chose to remain present, singing with a maturing voice, dancing with a never-ending energy, and showing that growth is a process to be lived, not hidden. There's a reason so many listeners say they feel BTS through Jungkook's voice. His voice is often an introduction to the emotions of the song, a bridge between the lyrics and the feelings of the listener. In BTS songs, Jungkook often holds the part that sets the mood, be it a soaring climax or a soothing ending. This role indirectly strengthened the public's association. When the voice sounded, BTS's name automatically flashed, and when BTS was called, Jungkook's voice rang again. However, what is most interesting is how Jungkook himself never attempted to claim the position. He still calls himself a member of BTS, not a representation of BTS. He's still talking about us, not me. In an era where individualism is often a survival strategy, Jungkook instead asserts a collective identity. It is this paradox that makes it all the more powerful as a symbol. The world sees him as the center, precisely because he has never sought to be the center. Over time, the attachment between BTS and Jungkook's name changed from a mere media habit to a kind of public emotional reflex. When BTS took a break, many were looking for Jungkook's news. When Jungkook appeared, many felt as if BTS was back. Not because he replaced his group, but because he carries BTS's footprint in his every move. It is a living reminder of what they have built together. In the end, maybe this is what makes this one figure feel like it determines everything. Jungkook isn't just part of BTS's story, he's one of the ways the story is perceived. He brings together BTS's past, present, and future hopes in a single figure who grew up with the world watching him. And as long as Jungkook continues to walk with the same sincerity, the BTS name will always find its reflection in him, as if the two are bound by an invisible thread that is difficult to separate, even by time.